Hey there, trailblazers, movers, and relentless creators. Welcome back to another game-changing episode of the Thinking Big podcast, where I believe mindset is your superpower and your potential is limitless. I'm your host, Sean Osborn, and today I am beyond fired up. I have been waiting to bring you this episode for what feels like forever, and the wait is finally over. My special guest today is none other than the legendary Russell Brunson. That's right, the Russell Brunson, marketing genius, funnel building wizard, and the mastermind behind ClickFunnels. And today is just part one of two, and we're diving into the secret vaults of success, personal development and rare treasures that Russell has literally traveled the globe to uncover. We're talking about books and manuscripts that are so rare, so powerful, they have the potential to completely shift your mindset and skyrocket your success. Russell's passion project, Secrets of Success, isn't just about preserving old wisdom, it's about igniting transformation today. He's turning vintage gold into actionable strategies, breaking down the barriers of psychology that keep entrepreneurs stuck in spinning their wheels. We're going to unpack the mindset hacks, the powerful stories behind these life-changing texts, and you'll even hear Russell share insights that he's never revealed publicly before, like the secret behind shifting your internal beliefs to truly get anything you want. So buckle up, because this conversation isn't just going to inspire you, it is going to flip the internal switch that propel you from dreaming to doing. So if you're ready to tap into the secrets of success and unleash unstoppable, game-changing force that you've always had within, let's dive in, dream big, and blow the lid off your potential.
Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast with Sean Osborn, the show helping you think bigger into your life and potential. Sean believes by equipping you with the tools, strategies, and philosophies required to be successful in all aspects of your life, you can achieve anything you believe in. Empowering our own growth makes a deeply positive and lasting impact on our lives, community, and our world. Now, here's Sean.
Hey, Thinking Big listeners, this episode is brought to you by the Secrets of Success. This community is designed for individuals who seek more than just fleeting motivation and are ready to actively pursue their goals with certainty without sacrificing fulfillment. If you are not just content with liking motivational content, but are committed to becoming the change you wish to see in this world, it offers a blend of historical wisdom, practical application, and a supportive community for personal and professional growth. Just click on the link in the show notes to get more information. Well, welcome to the show, Russell. It is so good to have you on. Finally, I've been trying to get this one set up for quite a while, so thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, man. So excited to finally be on as well. It's been fun hanging out with you multiple times over the last year and a half, 2 years, and it's fun to finally have a chance to do this back and forth. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and it's so... The last thing we were just at was the Funnel Hacking Live 10, the Funnel Hacking Live 10, the last, I hate to even say it, but the last dance.
The last dance till the next dance, right?
Last dance to the next dance. Dude, that was an absolutely amazing and crazy event.
Thank you. Was that your first Funnel Hacking Live, by the way?
That was my first Funnel Hacking Live.
Yeah. Jumped right into immersion, right?
So that was absolutely incredible event that you put on. And it's not just for ClickFunnels. That's the whole thing. It wasn't just for ClickFunnels. It was literally it is a full blown, it's not just ClickFunnels. It is an absolute, entrepreneurs,
rock concert for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. It's like, so God, you had so many guests on there, McCall and Myron. I got to meet Myron. I got to meet Stu, and so many different great people that you had on. So anyways, that was such a great event, and
thank you.
I know that there's going to be something else. So more to come on that, I'm sure. But there's going to be the second half is coming. The revolution is coming. I know there's stuff coming. We'll get into that. But then that was an absolute crazy event, and it was just amazing. And anybody that's listening right now, anybody can go up and get a replay of that, can't they?
Yeah, I think right now we have a replay running at funnelhackinglive.com. We'll probably pull it down here in the, but eventually we're going to relaunch something because we've got 10 years. It was our 10th year. So we have all this amazing, so I'm trying to figure out something to be able to have an archive of that where people can come in and be like, oh, I want to see Trent Sheldon or so-and-so. So we don't have that figured out 100% yet, but the replays from last event are live, I think right now at funnelhackinglive.com. Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody listening right now, if it's still up there, I highly recommend you go, you get that, because it is truly a great, obviously Tony Robbins was speaking there. I got literally 3 feet from Tony. It's like, oh, this is awesome.
He almost spit on me. He was the greatest.
It was absolutely, absolutely awesome. So I wanted to kind of start this out kind of where we started. And it's like, one of the first things that really connected us together was your involvement in really finding and buying, rare personal development books and really launching the Secrets of Success. And that is such an amazing, amazing thing. Tell us a little bit about the Secrets of Success and where did the idea come from for you to do that?
Yeah. Man, it's been so much fun. It launched over a year and a half ago now. We launched the company. We have a big, you probably don't know about all those things yet, but we have a really big update coming out. We have an app coming out, a whole bunch of other really cool things I'm excited for. But it all started back, obviously my business for the last 20 years has been coaching entrepreneurs. And I spent so much time teaching them how to do funnels and write copy and all these things. And what I found, the strangest thing is, for most people, when they're not successful, it's not because they don't know how to do the tactics. It's literally because there's usually something between their ears in their brain that's holding them back. And for a long time, I kind of fought against personal development. I'm like, that's not that important. That's not, I never taught it or start teaching people. And then our first couple of funnel hacking lives were very tactical and I loved it. But again, we weren't having the success that I wanted. And I literally had this conversation with Tony Robbins. And I asked him, I'm like, I have these people. I care about them. I want them to succeed. I'm giving them everything. I'm giving them my heart and my soul. And they're not, there's some people don't have success, but so many of them aren't. I'm like, I can't figure it out. And I remember he laughed. He was like, oh, you still think it's all about the tactics. I'm like, yeah. He's like, no, you don't understand. Success in anything is usually 10% the tactics or the strategy and 90% psychology. He's like, when people it's their own mindset that keeps them back. It's not the other things. He's like, proof of it is the fact you give everyone the same blueprint and 10% of success and 90% struggle. That's the reason is because their psychology. You have to fix that first. And that was the very first time I was like, well, can you speak at my event then? And so I think it was the third Funnel Hacking Live, the first time Tony came and spoke. And he ended up speaking at 5 of the 10 events, which is really cool. But I saw him work people's psychology and I started seeing them have more success. Our success rate shot through the roof on people. And so I was like, okay, I want to start introducing more of these things. And I had studied personal development, but I didn't know, I wasn't someone who was teaching it or whatever. And I don't know if I even wanted to teach it, but I wanted to share with my people. And so again, I brought Tony Robbins and Trent Sheldon, these amazing speakers to our live events. But I was the way I learned most of my personal development was from books. And I was obsessed with Napoleon Hill and, all these other amazing authors. And so when I started a couple of years ago, I started collecting old books just kind of for fun, just for myself. And then eventually I was like, man, so many things I'd love to republish and share with other people. And I don't want to teach it. Here's Russell teaching. I want Napoleon Hill to teach it. I want, Elsie Lincoln Benedict to teach it, but I want their words. And so we started doing partnerships with the Napoleon Hill Foundation to take some of these books and these works that were already out there. I mean, there's so many amazing books that are already out there, but it's like, how do we take some of these things and breathe life back into them and share them with other people, and then have us teach people and coach them and share these messages. And so that's kind of how it started. I got a little addicted to collecting books when one of the very first big things I purchased was this. It was a pre-first edition, and you've seen it, in person, but a pre-first edition Laws of Success from Napoleon Hill. It was signed. It was the most expensive thing I've ever bought. But when I bought that book set, I bought it from a collector who'd been collecting Napoleon Hill stuff for 20 years. And so I ended up buying his entire collection. I flew out, we got it, we brought it back home. And so I had all of this. There was so much stuff, right? I was going through it all. I'm like, these things are amazing. No one's even heard of most of these things. And so at that point, when it was like, I want to help people be more successful. And, in the business world, my books are .com secrets, marketing secrets, expert secrets. And I was trying to get successsecrets.com, but there's 3 S's in the middle. It looked really weird. And so I was like, what if we call it Secrets of Success? And someone owned that trademark. We bought the trademark, set up a site. And I was like, I want to create a place that people can come and we can learn and we can talk about these things and we can help people with the psychology so they can be more successful. So that's kind of how it all started happening. And then, a year and a half ago or so, we launched it, and it's just been anyway, one of the most fun things ever. The fact that I can buy these old books that I'm excited by and then share them with everybody, and then they get excited. It's it's the best.
Now, some people can probably see some of the stuff behind you right there, but I've been there. I've seen some of the madness. So I just, in your words, not my words, not anybody, your words, what is the difference between a hoarder and a collector?
The difference between a hoarder and a collector is how much room you have to store it all, right? Yeah. So just for context from listening, outside my window here, we are building a big, like 20,000 square foot. It'll be eventually become a museum and an event center for this. Because I want people to come and have a chance to like read the books, but also like have the greatest minds of personal development sitting in, like coming and actually speaking into these little rooms, and we can stream it around the world. And so it's going to be like the success center to help people be more successful and everything. And so, so I've got a big place to store them. So I'm not a hoarder yet. I'm still technically a collector until I run out of room.
then it turns into hoarding.
Then it flips over. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I mean, I give you crap on that, but when I was out there and I literally got to pick up and hold that first 1925 law of success, there's magic in the pages. There's just holding it and feeling it, where there was an energy in that was just, there's something to these old books that and one, for you to go and do this and to bring this to the people is just, it's huge. I know this has got to be like a passion project for you to do all this.
Yeah, it's fun. And I agree. The first time, I remember when I bought all that stuff and I got it and brought back home, and we had this, one of our offices, I just laid all the books out on these tables. And I remember I'd come in, I'd spend 2 or 3 hours going through stuff. And I felt the same. I'm like, I don't know what this is. This feels really different and really cool. And it was like kept attracting me back to keep reading those things. But definitely for me, it's not of my business. It's not the biggest business that we have, but what's cool is it helps all the other businesses, right? If anyone gets into this and they read it and they start studying it, they have more success in the business world. They have more success in personal development, in coaching, like whatever they're doing. Like when you fix your psychology and your mindset, it unlocks, as you know this, it unlocks all the doors for you to be successful in whatever area you want. You know, I help coach wrestling, and so I have wrestling kids I'm trying to explain these things to now, and I'm seeing it break through for them. All of a sudden, it's like, you know, they're changing their mindset, they're shifting their identity, they're doing these things, and all of a sudden, like they get more successful as athletes. Like it's one of those things that amplifies anything. So for me, it's like it's an amplifier of the people that I want to develop inside of my business, right? Whether it be entrepreneurs or whatever it is, it's like these principles, these things, like it helps amplify any of those people, helps them become the person that they're supposed to be, and that's why it's so fun. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and you've received or you've purchased some of the rarest first edition books that anybody can, that nobody's seen. It's like these are, when we went to Wise, Virginia, to Napoleon Hill's, the archive at the Napoleon Hill Foundation. It's like there's stuff that people have just never even laid eyes on, and it's absolutely
unpublished books and manuscripts and like all these things that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so one of the things that you've done with Secrets of Success that I love is you actually created it into like a community. So it's not, so someone doesn't have to fly out to Boise to the, this new big, which I can't wait for that thing to open up, go out there to read all this stuff, to see it, to listen to it. I mean, it's all within this community that you've built, and it is an absolute amazing community that you have there with the Secrets of Success.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's a really neat group of people. It's all people who have growth mindsets. They want to learn. They want to grow. And we, again, I'm teasing a little bit. We have some really cool things coming up for that group that I think is going to really take it all to the next level, which is really exciting too. Yeah,
I cannot wait to see that. Oh, and I have an idea for the Secrets of Success. So again, I'll bring up an idea. So one of the things that would be great is like every year, and this is for others that are in it as well, but every year I do, like for instance, my Think and Grow Rich workshop. Mm-hmm. Love doing it. It's a way for me to give back. It's a way for me to pay it forward. It's a way for me to help my movement, right? Help the people that look at me. And one of the things that would be great, rather than launch another course this year, is to have a way to where I could put, or people could put their stuff within the Secrets of Success that maybe only, again, that's up to you, but like to where, rather than selling, my course, I would say, hey, it's in the Secrets of Success, come in, whether that's available to all the, Secrets of Success, or it's available to the people but it's a way for me as an entrepreneur, rather than keep reinventing the wheel or doing my own little thing. It's like, I'm throwing it in there, just become a part of the Secrets of Success. So just throwing it out.
Okay.
I
love that.
You got these ideas. So what's nice though is you've got this, and you've got it to where anybody can go in and they can listen to these books. They can look at the stuff. You've got book clubs. You've got all the stuff. Obviously, there's a ton of Napoleon Hill in there. But there's a lot of other stuff in there as well. That's not just Napoleon Hill. We went to Chicago, which is the first time we met, and we went through, Earl Nightingale and The Strangest Secret. And it's like, God, there's just so much stuff that is available in there. So what did you learn from like Earl Nightingale? Like, what did you learn when we went there? That was such an amazing thing as well.
Yeah, that was really special. And watching some of the old videotapes, on the old reels, we're watching like The Strangest Secret from the original, like whatever those things are called, old movie reels and stuff like that. It's interesting because like I feel like personal development has been these different trends, right? I feel like the first trend was like Orson Swett Martin. He's one who launched Success Magazine, right? And then from that, then like the Napoleon Hill era, and then fast forward to like when things shifted from print more so to radio, like obviously Earl was the next big wave. And then you come fast forward and then it's like the Tony Robbins, or your Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins era. And then now we're like the social influencer era. So everyone's got kind of these different things. But if you look back, it's interesting because most of the people each era are just re-sharing the things that were learned at each era. And nowadays it's really fascinating because nowadays you look at science, you look at all the brain stuff people are doing, and it's like all the stuff they were teaching and talking about, it's like all being proven now. Which back then it was just like they thought about these things and they like, they would share these amazing ideas. I'm like, where did they come up with these things? Like, they had no proof back then, but now we're able to like validate, no, this is actually true. This is how your brain works. And this is how the subconscious works and stuff. But back then there's no proof. They just like tested things, And so it's really fun. And I think I love Earl because he was so prolific. He was running a weekly radio show. He had to talk all the time, right? And it's like, how do you keep telling these stories different ways, different areas, different avenues? And but I still think my favorite part is The Strangest Secret, which we had a chance to watch the original Strangest Secret out there, just because it's such a good like overview of your thoughts, like choosing what you want and then subconsciously figuring out how to reprogram your mind and planting the right seeds to be able to get those things. And it's just, it was such a pivotal point in this whole personal development journey. And then from that, I think about how many people respond from that who heard Earl on the radio, and then from that inspired them, and then they started sharing their things, and now we've got this whole new wave of people that came on the backside of it. But it's just so cool to see what happens when one person decides to step up and to like find their voice and to share with other people. And Earl was just one of the greatest of all time to do it, which is really fun.
Yeah, and all of those episodes are inside the Secrets of Success, by the way.
They're not published anywhere else. People know like this is the only way to get these is inside of Secrets of Success. That's it.
And those are amazing. I mean, they're short little things, but man, those things are great. And I'll say this. So one of the things that you did in Secrets of Success, which I thought was genius, is how you deliver some of the stuff. So you take platforms that are already out there and available, podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. But now with Secrets of Success, you can actually go and get that content, but then it's delivered via the podcast.
Yeah.
Via a secure podcast. I thought, man, that is just a genius way to be able to deliver the stuff that you have in a way that's, something that's already out there. You don't need any more applications. It's delivered in, in your own platform. So
it was interesting because when we first launched it, I was like, I wanted to do an app. And again, we are doing an app now, but back then I wanted to, but then the reality of getting adoption on an app is really hard because people's like, how many apps do you look at every day? Like 3 or 4. And for me, it's like the one I list, like one of my 3 or 4 apps I open it 100 times a day is my podcast app. And I was like, what if we figured out a way that obviously someone's got to be a member and then we just push it directly to your podcast app. So you log the membership site, go subscribe to all the books you want, and then it's just on your podcast apps. And you're driving around, it's like, I can listen to Earl, I can listen to Napoleon, I can listen to whatever. And like when we figured out technically how to do that, for me, it was the best because I literally went in, I subscribed to every book we had. Now my podcast has got, here's the 10 podcasts I listen to, here's everything Secrets of Success, and I can just geek out. And it's like my favorite thing in the world. So yeah.
And it was genius. So it's like I do drive time, university. It's like whenever I'm driving around, I've always got something on, although I've changed. So I probably shouldn't mention this, but it's like, so I've got a Tesla and it's, I've got the full self-driving. And by the way, that's got so much better over the last year. It's like, it's amazing now. So I have a monitor and actually a teleprompter set up in front.
You have a teleprompter in it? That's amazing.
Just like the one I'm using now. Now, I don't use it as a teleprompter to read stuff, but if I'm doing a meeting or if I'm doing something, I can look right at you. I can be in my car sitting there driving.
You guys send me a picture of that. I want to see what it looks like. That's so cool.
So I also put in like a racing steering wheel, like it's a half wheel, because now I've got full access to the monitor. That's right. So it doesn't go up and go over the monitor. So that's a great stuff. But love that. So yeah, getting the stuff in the podcast format was genius, and that's one of the reasons why I think people stick around in that platform or in that membership site because it's the way it's accessible and it's the way that that you do it. So it's great. Now, one question out of all you, I want to say 100,000, 200,000 books that you've purchased so far. I don't know where it's at. Again, it's not hoarding. It's a collection. But what is one book, like if you, one thing that you've unearthed that's completely changed kind of the way you thought, like, oh, that one book is like changed my mindset on something.
Yeah. In fact, no one knows this yet, but you guys are probably not now. So one of the very first books we did in the book club was Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book called How to Get Anything You Want. And we right now are actually publishing as a physical book. So this was the first draft, and it's actually going to end up being a little bit bigger, the final, but this is the first draft of it. But this book was one, when I was collecting all these different books, I got to the point, I was buying a lot. I was buying every book from every author I could find. So tons of stuff were coming. And when I bought these, they actually came in as these little tiny blue books. And so one day, I can't remember, something's happening. I was waiting for somebody to finish something. I had this like window. I looked over and I saw a little set of little books. I grabbed the first little blue book. I started reading it. And that first book just hit me so hard. I was like, who is this lady? I'd never heard of her before. Didn't know her name. All I knew is the title was like How to Get Anything You Want. Like, that's a pretty cool title. And so I read just the very first booklet, which is now basically chapter 1 in this book. And it blew my mind. Because like she talked about, all the time, most of the people I studied were all about like Napoleon, think and grow. Like, think about things and it grows. But she talked about, she's like thinking is not how you actually change. It's like, it's your internal feelings, right? She's like, when you want to do something, the way you feel about it is if you're going to do it or not. It's your subconscious, it's inside your body. And she started talking about it. She's like, it's not your thoughts, it's your feelings. Your thoughts can change your feelings and dictate your feelings and stuff like that. But it's the feelings that hold you back or that release you, right? So I think about this, like when I coach entrepreneurs, a lot of times, I'll work with them. I'll like set a goal, like we want to make $1 million in a year, right? And consciously they're thinking, I want to make $1 million a year, but then they feel something. And for most of them, they're like, oh, I don't think I can do it. And they don't know what it is. They got like a sick feeling in their stomach or something. They're feeling something, right? And that feeling is your subconscious is actually like you're not worthy of that. You're not ready for that. There's no way you could do it, whatever it is, right? But it's the feeling that actually dictates whether you're going to do it or not. And when she shared that, and she did it way more eloquently than I just did, I was like, well, that's interesting. I always thought if I think I can go do the thing, but it's not that way, because if it was, everyone who thought about doing something would go accomplish it, right? They think about, I want to lose weight, I want to make money, I want to do whatever, but then they have the subconscious feeling that's inside. And so when you understand that and you start becoming aware of it, like when I think about this, how do I feel? And if it's bad, like you're going to literally, you will self-sabotage yourself if the feelings you have are out of alignment with the thing you want. And so when you understand that, it's like, hey, well, how do I rewrite that? How do I take these patterns, these subconscious beliefs and actually change them? So when I think about the thing I want, my body's like, oh yes, you can do that. You are ready. You are worthy. You are capable. You are whatever, right? And like, I'd never thought about that. It was like this thing that unhinged for me. And I started spending more time after reading that about just thinking about things. Like I would think about one of my kids and I'm like, how do I feel? And sometimes like, I feel sick to my stomach about my kid. I'm like, why is that? I'm like, oh my gosh, they're stressing me out. Cause then like, I'd figure that out and go back and like have conversation and work through it to the point where we felt good. And I think of my kid, I'm like, I feel good about him, or about a goal or about a dream I have, a vision I want, for someone I want to create. And I became very aware of the feelings attached, because the feelings are going to dictate whether you actually do it or not. And like, how do you reprogram the feelings? Anyway, so that book is still one of my favorite. That's why we're republishing as a physical book. So I'm like, I want to sell 1 million copies of this so everyone can have this, because it has such a big impact on me. And it's, again, of all the books we bought, probably become one of, if not my favorite one that I've read so far. So it's the best.
It's fantastic. And so we've dived into that a little bit, and it was such a fantastic find. It's such a fantastic book that you have. And all those are going to be, so by the way, this is one of my dream things. This is from you. This was one of the first edition and first print Think and Grow Rich from 1937. Again, this was one of the huge things on my bucket list that I still thank you for that. That is just, it's such an amazing thing. I'd be as gentle and read it as, I don't want to open it up.
When I would start collecting, I was trying to find everyone, and there was not a lot of them out there. Like, as you know, it's first edition, first printing. And so in my years of collecting, I think I ended up with 6 of them. And so for our affiliate contest, like the top 5, I think got them. So I have 1 copy now. You've got 1. There's only a few out there that survived, and so yeah, it's a very special. It's a gem.
So all of the stuff that you're gathering, and again, it's not hoarding, it's collecting. We've established that. You're building your library and your event center out there, and I am absolutely, I am so excited for that event center to come, especially not only for the library side of it, but for the event center as well. What is your goal for doing that? Like, what's driving you to do that?
So the vision on it, it actually comes back to Napoleon Hill's vision. If you look at Napoleon Hill's life, it was fascinating. Every time he would have some success in life, like a lot of success came out, he started making a bunch of money. And the first thing he wanted, he's like, I want to establish a school for success. So he starts building a school, and then the Great Depression happens. Boom, he loses all his money, falls apart, right? Then fast forward, he's doing this stuff. Eventually, Think and Grow Rich. It goes viral, makes a bunch of money. He starts going to establish the school of success. And then him and his wife got divorced. She took, everything falls apart again, right? But he kept trying throughout his life, even later on in his life when he met W. Clement Stone and his new wife, and they started building this thing, and it was having a ton of success. He was trying to figure out the same thing, and they were trying to figure out how to franchise it, or just, and he never kind of figured that out. And as I was going through reading more and more about him, I was like, that's what this world needs. But back then it wasn't possible. Like, let's say I build a school for success here in Boise, Idaho. I'm in Boise, Idaho. That's not that big of a city, right? It's not going to have that big of an impact. But I'm like, the technology nowadays is completely different, where I have a school here, right? We've got all the books, it's got all this stuff. We have an event center. But what's crazy is now we can stream these things to the world, right? And so what my vision is, and again, technology is catching up and stuff, but I want to have 3D cameras inside of the event center and capture everything 3D. So in the future, what could happen is, someone could sign up for our school of success, and they could be living in Africa or in Australia. We'd send them out like in the box, like a VR headset. They throw in a VR headset, and literally it's like you're in the room. And someone's speaking, it's like you're 3D, you're experiencing just like you were there. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is create the center where this thing happens, but then stream it around the whole entire world. Because now we actually literally could do this for everyone, right? We could send this information and these ideas and these principles to the farthest corners of the world, people who are struggling, people who don't have money, and also they can get access to these things in a way that's fun, that's unique. Because we do a lot of service stuff in Kenya and Africa, and we go out there and there's these kids that are amazing, but a lot of them, they understand English, but they can't read yet, or they struggle reading. They don't have access to books. Like, there's all these things where it's like, but a lot of them have access to the computers. Like, they could log in and all of a sudden, like, they're watching Tony Robbins motivate them, and they're like, wow, I can change my world, where nowadays they don't have access to that kind of stuff. And so it's just exciting, because I feel like it's going to take what Napoleon was trying to build, but do it in a way now where we can literally stream this and change the entire world. So that's what I'm working towards. And I think it's going to be really cool.
And if anybody's going to finish it and complete it, it would be you, Russell.
I'm very stubborn, so we'll get it.
That and you don't do anything half-assed. It's just like you're all in. You get obsessed. But here's the thing. What's funny is we get obsessed with these things, and I think it's a great thing. It's like when my wife comes to me and says, "Sean, you're getting obsessed with that." I'm like, yes, that means I'm going to win. Yes, I'm obsessed. It's like we have to become obsessed in order for us to win at these goals. If we're just kind of want it, or it's a wish, it's like it's never going to happen. We got to turn that sucker into an obsession. But speaking of, so I can't wait for you to do that 3D center. It's like, have you ever done the demo on those Apple glasses?
Yeah, my kids stole mine, but yes, I have some. They're cool.
It's like you go through that demo, and it's like when they take you to Africa and you're playing soccer in that field, and it's like you can literally smell it. It is such a real experience. It's like, oh, I can't wait for that to happen within this. And
I love. Imagine if I'm trying to figure out how to do this, but you could walk into the event center, walk over to a book, and grab a first edition manuscript from the thing, and you're flipping through these pages. Like, this is something like under glass, no one can touch it, but everyone could actually like right now we're scanning most of the stuff I have to be able to have ability someday to be able to do that. But wouldn't that be cool? And it's like I can read Napoleon Hill's actual manuscript like right there with your goggles. Anyway, so fun.
As it is. So that's amazing. And by the way, I was speaking to my nemesis, Doug, not Ivanka,
who just got married yesterday. Woohoo!
Who just got married. My arch nemesis, talking with him, it's like, yeah, I got to get with you on a seat for that thing too. It's like, so what's funny is like we go to these things, we meet people. I met you, started hanging out with you. It's like Doug. It's like he was my nemesis. I'm taking that sucker down. I'm taking him down. We become good friends. I'm going to fly out and see him. We're going to go, help build a house in Mexico. And it's like,
cool.
It's when you get in the rooms with the people that can inspire you and can drive you, it's like such magical things can happen when we do that.
Yeah.
And it's again, thanks for all that. And again, I think this. Not only do I think the event center is going to be huge, but the library, it's really a museum. It's like not only are you going to have books in there, you're going to have memorabilia from all these.
I just supposed to be delivered this week. So Elbert Hubbard, who's one of the early thought leaders, he ran a community called the Roy Crafters, and they were the ones who printed all of the books and the magazines and the newspapers in the personal development space back in the early 1900s. And anyway, I just bought a printing press from the Roy Crafters that's going to be here. It's like the coolest thing in the world. It's old school, and the claim to fame for this one specifically is the very first printing of the Wizard of Oz was done on my printing press. And so that'll be here this week. It'll be in the library eventually to see how did they print all this stuff? It was this one dude, Elbert Hubbard, and his community who did all the printing, all the shipping, all the stuff for almost all these books back in the day. You get Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book, and it's printed by the Roy Crafters. I'm like, oh, she printed the same place that everyone else. It's going to be really cool. So that's another weird thing that showed up this week that I'm so excited for.
Oh, has anybody ever actually just tried to sit down and talk with you and say, Russell, we've got to have a little talk about this?
I think you have a problem. Actually, yes, a lot of people did, especially when I started getting into it. I was buying books. I'm buying books on eBay, finding all these things. And we got a spot where I was getting 30, 40, 50 books a day for about 4 or 5 months straight because they were just coming. Because I'm in my mind, I'm curating a library. I got to fill the thing up with all the best stuff in the world. And I had one of my business partners, he said to the other one, he's like, do you think we need to have an intervention? Is he okay? Is something wrong? What's happening here? And I was like, I have a vision, but I can't explain it yet. And so it wasn't until you saw the video, but I did a video walking people through the vision where I'm creating. So I made that video and I showed them. They're like, oh, that's okay. Why didn't you just tell us? I'm like, I didn't know how to explain it. This is what I'm trying to create. This is the vision. And so, yeah, there's a method to the madness. But yeah, it's definitely hard to explain sometimes initially.
To me, it's one of the biggest legacy moves I've seen from somebody. It's I've never seen anything quite like this as far as people putting stuff together, collections together, and not for your own use. That's what's so wonderful. You're getting all this stuff. You're buying this stuff. You are putting this together for humanity. It's for everybody. It's it's not for you. You're not going to go hang the book on your wall and no one else gets to see it.
Yeah.
But it's so again, thank you for doing all that stuff because I think this is going to be huge. And I think this is going to be, it's already big, but it's the stuff that you're pushing, the stuff that you see, the stuff that you envision in your mind that no one else sees is, again, that's part of your genius of what you do and why you do things. So, man, I cannot wait to go out there to Boise again to see this. When
by this time next year, it should all be done. And so, I can't wait to take you on a tour and show you everything. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, can't wait. As long as I get it. I can't believe you actually let me touch that 1925 book too.
You had the cool video, the camera glasses on. We had to capture that. That was too cool.
Wow, what a fantastic episode today, and a huge thank you to the incredible Russell Brunson for lighting up our minds and expanding our vision on today's episode. And if your mind isn't racing with possibilities right now, you might want to check your pulse. But listen up, because we are just warming up. Don't miss the next episode where Russell and I dive deep into what I call his true zone of genius. That is selling online and ClickFunnels, and discover how Russell Brunson's subconscious selling, or we're going to discover how Russell Brunson's subconscious selling secrets and ClickFunnels strategies can instantly transform your business and skyrocket your sales. So make sure to subscribe, because episode 2 is going to be packed with golden nuggets, strategies, and some behind the scenes secrets that you will not find anywhere else. So thank you for tuning in to the Thinking Big podcast. And remember, your future isn't defined by your past. It's created by your actions today. Keep thinking big, keep pushing forward, and I will see you on the next episode.